Well, as we really start moving into fall, you may be using your outdoor living space a little less and less. But there are some things you can do to continue using that space for weeks to come. So Randy Hahn from Contract Exteriors is here to help us plan on how to do that. So let's start with heaters, Randy. I mean, that seems kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Adding some heat. And actually, there's a picture right here. Outdoor fireplaces, those can go on patios and decks these days.
They sure can.
So what are the options? That's obviously one, but there are several options. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so you start with your natural wood fireplaces, outdoor fireplaces, then you can go to ones that have propane tanks or ones with natural gas, or you can have electric heat elements as well. So no matter what you do, when you're putting it on top of a deck, you want to have a barrier between that deck and that heat source so that you don't cause that fire as you go in for the night and you're wanting to go to bed, that you don't have that spark later down the road.
Right, okay. And so this is an example of kind of one of those fireplace bowl type of things, is what I call it. But there are also the options, I've seen the stands, you know, that's a propane type of thing. Those are all options that can just warm up the space. They really work. I imagine you've seen them in action.
We have. And you know what, our customers have used a lot of them. The biggest thing that we always remind them is, you know, if they're doing it in that patio where it's enclosed and they want to try to close that in for the winter, try to pull some heat in, you want to make sure that you have ventilation, because whenever you have propane or any type of gas element, you don't want to have that carbon dioxide build up in there, or carbon monoxide. So anyway, you want to make sure that you have proper ventilation in those areas. You know, if you're using an electric heat source, you want to make sure that you're also unplugging them, and any heat source, you want to make sure that they're sort of free and clear from anything around so that it can't spark, and you can make sure that, you know, they're safe once you go to bed at night.
Okay, and now let's talk a little bit about just kind of fall. You want it still to be an inviting kind of a space. So just an update in the decor can make a difference. I think I put together a graphic on this one. Just a few ideas like some pillows, any sort of decor, anything like that can really make a difference. Even the color palettes. So just changing that out can make a difference. And you can do that in lots of different ways, right?
Lots of ways. So, you know, the nice part about, you know, your outdoor furniture is, you know, you can go with the summertime with those more coastal colors and those bright colors, and you can change that when it goes in the fall, and you can go to more of those warmer browns and oranges, and really give that nice warm fall feel to your outdoor living space, and really not having to do a lot of investment to changing the look, which is a really nice thing.
And that makes it, you know, this time of year, you can plan on, you know, having people over for football games or whatever, but you want to make it feel like you planned for them to be there, right?
Exactly.
Like you didn't just decide to have it outside because, you know, you still, you know, we're thinking about summertime. You want to make it seem intentional.
Yeah.
So also behind us here, there's a picture of kind of another kind of use of the space. But when we're talking about maximizing seating spaces, which is one of the things you want to think about if you're planning on using it for as long as you can, you just want to think about kind of two factors, you say, the size of the space and how you're going to use it.
That's correct. So, you know, whenever we meet with a customer, you know, we want to make sure that we're designing the space for their needs and their wants. So their wants are, you know, well, I want to use this for those outdoor football parties, or I want to use that for a fire pit, or I want to do that. And then we got to design the seating space around there based on what we have in the size. So you have to take what they want and then sort of meet in between. And a great way to do that is an outdoor bar top area. So you can have that outdoor kitchen space, but we can incorporate a bar area with that, and that gives more seating space and those tighter patios and whatnot. And it allows our customers to utilize their space. No matter what you want to do, you want to have it drawn out and designed and sort of get the feel of it before you hire that contractor and then realize, well, that doesn't make sense.
Right, this won't fit there and that kind of thing. But then, like you said, an outdoor kitchen with a bar is kind of a multi-use area. So you can kind of fit more into one area. And then preparing for the winter. Once we really get to the point where we might be using it a good bit less. One thing that people might think about if they're planning for winter time is having some composite decking, but then also if they have wood, being sure that it's sealed. Tell me a little bit about those two things.
So, you know, the difference in deck technology these days is that, you know, the products out there now have 30-year warranties on them. And so, you know, when you go to a true cellular PVC product or a composite that's wrapped in PVC, the maintenance on those is really just hosing them down and making sure that it's clean of debris going into that winter time. You want to make sure that, you know, you get all the pine needles off of there that have fallen down in the fall, so that if you do have that fireplace out there, that you're not sparking later in the evening.
And the composite's really resilient.
Really resilient.
Okay, so that'll go, winter the winter pretty easy.
Big time.
Weather the winter maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
But then with the wood, you just
with the wood, you want to seal it, and you really want to seal wood twice a year. So the best time is going into the winter and then going into the summer. The UV sun really breaks it down over the summer, and then you're really putting it on going into winter because you're helping protect it from the climate change.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's all the time we have.
Awesome.
But we ran through some really good ideas
Awesome.
there. Really good ways for people to be sure that they can continue to use their deck into the fall and into next spring.
Awesome.
I appreciate it,
Thank you very
Randy.
much.
We'll be right back.